Hello everyone and welcome back. I am Duke Silver and today we are playing Waddle. Now I don't really have much to say before we get into this, except I've been streaming regularly on Twitch and I would love it if you would come over and hang out with me live. If you have the desire to do so. My Twitch will be in the description. But yeah, that's everything. So let's just get into this immediately. So we pick up three animals nice and early here. We're gonna lock a Mim in the shop there to go with our black cat. We did have to roll past a Mim, but I thought it was more valuable to cast the spell and get a stat on the Wizard's Familiar than to just lock the shop there. But yeah, we did find a Mim in the next shop, and then we took our free roll and found a triple for our Wizard's Familiar, as well as another one in the shop there that we're gonna lock for. And also we're gonna get this black cat triple, so we can get a second treasure already on 3.0 here. But it's between Lock Chest and Merlin's Slippers here, and because we have the Wizard's Familiar, and also we now have this Spellweaver in the shop, which I think we're actually gonna roll past, because again, we have to take the free roll. We need to cast the spell. But like the chance of getting Crystal Ball out of Lock Chest, I felt like was a little bit more valuable than the Merlin Slippers. But yeah, so yeah, we locked the Blind Mouse triple here, which we were hoping to get like Forking Rod, but we're gonna take Moonsong Horn again. We're just gonna be very optimistic about getting Crystal Ball out of this locked chest, and our gold works out with the Moonsong Horn, so that we can just buy experience here and go to 4. Again, if we're like hunting for Crystal Ball, like buying experience is maybe not the best thing, but I think like I said, the gold just worked out so well that I figured we had to do it, and we get to level 4 early, so that we can potentially pick up like some Sporkos or Lady of the Lakes or other things that go with mages, or monster books like we see in this shop. And getting 2 monster books on 3.2, I was gonna say 4.0, but yeah, but on 3.2 is fantastic here, especially with our Wizard's Familiars already. And now I'm kind of relieved that I didn't take the Spellweaver, because the monster book scaling with Spellweaver is a little bit awkward, especially if you want to add in a copycat. It just makes the positioning for Spellweaver a lot worse with say a copycat, which we don't have yet, but at this point we would definitely pick up. But yeah, with the all right, we get to triple our monster book on 4.0, so things are going very well, except that we just can't find Forking Rod for the life of us, which we would happily take. Forking Rod with even just the one spell cost reduction is really good. Getting to like fork TLKs or smites or something like that is very powerful. So that's something we would like. But in lieu of that, we're just scaling our Wizard's Familiars with the Golden Monster Book is going to be great. And there we have a copycat, which we are going to absolutely take and put in front of our Golden Monster Book. And yeah, we can put the Wizard's Familiars in the back row, and like they don't really care what order they attack in. They don't mind being attacked into or attacking first, whereas Spellweaver needs to be attacking first. Having it get attacked into because of how low its health is far worse than having it attack first. So that's one reason that I'm not a huge fan of Spellweaver at all in the copybook builds. Like, of course, getting a giant ranged character is very good, but I think the positioning with the awkward positioning, specifically in copybook, I just think the negative outweighs the positive, at least early in the game. You could also just not play the copycat and just play monster books up front, and then Spellweaver is a lot better when you can play it in 5. But we're gonna pick up an Aeon. I mean, we're casting spells during combat every turn, so the extra attack I think is gonna be useful. And if we can get a little more spell cost reduction even, then that's great too. Just being able to cast our combat spells for cheap then is great. This Peter Pants has a Hat Ball and Krampus Slay already, and they're very large. They have a golden Broomhilda there already, and they do win that fight, so their Krampus Slay is going to let them steal our Moonsong Horn. So it's almost almost good that we didn't get a forking rod yet, because giving them a forking rod might have just sealed our fate. I'm really tempted just to buy this, to sell and buy this monster book, but we're gonna lock it. And yeah, we are just gonna get every monster book we can see, at least for the time being, because we are fully committed to this this monster book Wizard's Familiar build. We would definitely like to see more copycats, though. Getting a golden copycat would be fantastic. All right, now I think the scale, like the stat scaling on the Wizard's Familiar is a little bit more important than the Aeon. Like getting extra attack is nice and all, but I think getting the extra health is gonna matter even more. And I sort of like played with locking and unlocking that shop, and I think during the cut I did end up locking at the last second, just because I wanted to get the cantrip, and I figured it was worth 1 gold to get a second spell for the next turn, because we need to get as many stats as we can onto these Wizard's Familiars, because we are leaning on them heavily with these monster books. Unfortunately, we find a Scion of the Storm nice and early on level 6 here, so we're absolutely going to take that. Poison Apple is great with all these monster books, because as you can see, you've probably seen that we've been casting a lot of Falling Stars out of them. So, and again, we missed on Forking Rod on these level 4 treasures. But I am going to take a deck of many things. This is just going to add another spell cast to our many spell casts per turn. And I think every little bit is going to count. And now that we're on level 6, every spell could be a Pigomorph, so we're definitely gonna take every one of those we can get. Yeah, we cast a ton of spells here. And get scaling on all our characters, or on all the ones that matter. So that's great. And you'll notice I could put the 2 books in the back and then have the copycat in front of them, but I feel like it's better to like guarantee our copycat actually gets an attack or has a way higher chance to get an attack than greed for the extra spells. Because if our copycat goes down before it gets to attack, then it's just kind of a disaster for a turn. We lose a bunch of spell casts. And yeah, I sell out of the 3s now. At this point, I think we're beyond the point of Crystal Ball, especially since we don't have Forking Rod or anything. But yeah, again, we need to triple this copycat though. These opponents have some very large boards, and we are starting to fall behind. But fortunately not too far behind, and our monster books and our stats from all these spells are allowing us to keep pace and at least not take much damage. Getting a second Scion of the Storm there is huge. And we can cast a Mix-a-Wizzle on Aeon for the turn. Just as a cantrip, and unfortunately we don't find another spell to cast. I briefly consider Feed the Krakening on the Mix-a-Wizzled Aeon, but I don't think the extra spell cast and 2 extra rolls is worth losing our Aeon for. Get a great smite out of that monster book there, which gives us just enough stats to tie that fight. And we get to triple our Scion, and we find 9th Book of Merlin, which is exactly the treasure we wanted. So now all our mages have the monster book Last Breath. They only get to cast 1 spell, so I'm gonna keep the monster books in for now, because I mean, getting multiple spell casts out of them is still a little bit better than just playing random mages behind there. But yeah, and we're gonna change heroes here. And unfortunately, like Loki would give us a free random spell every turn, but we're gonna turn into Mordred. Because Mordred's going to allow us to basically play that second copycat on our bench without having to actually play it. So it's kind of a neat little little trick. We get to hide our second copycat in hand, and then I mean, it didn't work out there because this ghost managed to knock out a character in the back first and put our copycat in the back. But yeah, our first copycat should be able to attack and probably die against whatever front line they have, and then the second copycat summons in the same slot and gets to attack and get the same bonus as well. or get the same spells that were in front of the initial copycat, and we'll just take another copycat. And now I'm gonna buy every single copycat that I see, because copycat is by far the best mage that you can have with 9th book. I mean, like, it's contextual, of course. Like, you need mages to scale, but once you have like we have the Wizard's Familiars and the Scions, once you have those, then copybooks become incredibly valuable. Summon in the second copycat there and get to attack with it. So that's some fantastic little sequence there. Also, you saw that we cast a kidnap at the end of turn there. That's because we know that of course, that Peter Pants has Spellweavers that we want to steal. So, and we did manage to steal one. So now we have a very large Spellweaver, and yeah, we can slot that into slot 5 now, and kind of start to get out of these monster books. It's going to improve our board strength significantly, I think, while still providing our spell from a last breath. Just trying to figure out the optimal positioning for this. Tempting to just play the monster book in the back and then have it like that, but I think that's probably not the best. Like, I think this is going to be our strongest board, is just play all 3 copycats. I would put the Aeon over the 3rd copycat, but one of the monster books would get summoned instead, and I really want to summon either something relevant or a copycat. So we're going to summon the Aeon. Unfortunately, the Aeon gets attacked into immediately, meaning we get to attack with our 2nd copycat immediately after that. And yeah, just getting value from our copycats is, of course, very, very good. And a really clutch Pigomorph at the very end there allows us to win that fight. Alright, we get to triple another copycat. Still haven't seen a Forking Rod, and I think we've gone through what, I think like 4, this is our 4th level 4 treasure we've seen. Which is just a little bit unlucky, but I don't know that we'd take it. I think I might take Forking Rod over Moonsong Horn now. But it's definitely not a huge priority anymore. We just kind of want to get golden copycats at this point. And we're gonna cast Reckless Wager here to get some extra gold, because we're very confident we can beat the ghost here. All right. Unfortunately, nothing. No Scions worth nothing worth locking from those rolls. We had to kind of accelerate so we didn't waste our gold. And Lightning Dragon attacks into our back row, putting a monster book behind our copycat, so we almost got some extra scaling out of that, but unfortunately the Doom Breath destroys our first copycat and then our monster book as well. I mean, we still won the fight very handily, but we almost got some extra value. All right, and again, we're just gonna keep taking copycats. There's a point where it's not worth it to play anymore, but I think at this point we're still happy to play 3. And there's another one, and I'm gonna sell out of one of these monster books for the copycat. Again, I think three golden copycats is where we want to be. That's kind of the sweet spot. So maybe with the Mordred summon, we can summon 1 and then have 2 on board. Once we get the 3rd one tripled, I think that's that'll be the configuration that we go with. At the moment, the 3rd copycat won't get summoned without us selling out of the rest of our board, so that's why we're not doing it now. And yeah, our flurry of spells crush Peter Pants, who never found Forking Rod either. And yeah, we deal I think it was 18 damage there. So I think we've taken a decent lead over Pants at least. The Fates tree board is still very strong, so they're a little bit worrisome. Again, no Forking Rod. I would happily taken a Forking Rod and fork the spell there. And I'm tempted to try and change heroes again. Like, the Mordred summon is very good, but there's definitely some things I think we can still improve if we take it. I am gonna lock it here, but I'm not entirely sure if that's the right thing to do. Basically, I want to try and hit Morgan Le Fay or Sad Dracula or Trophy Hunter. Trophy Hunter would be a huge one. I think Trophy Hunter is probably the best thing we could hit. And this Soul Tack protects against our smite, unfortunately there. But we get a Pigomorph of our own to take out the Soul Tack. Now any smites if we can send to their back line will actually go through. And we get a huge Pigomorph at the end of the fight, and then attack. We win the 50-50 attack there, and manage to knock out that tree opponent. And yeah, we're gonna take the hero change again. I think maybe locking it is a mistake because we could be looking for Pigomorph, and there it is in the next roll. Although I think the tree player was a lot stronger than the Peter Pants, unless Peter Pants found Forking Rod at the beginning of last turn and started scaling like mad. And we're gonna lock a very, very large Sign of the Storm. But again, they have no Forking Rod, unfortunately for them. And we're gonna send a flurry of spells at them and just overwhelm them here. And there it is. So yeah, this was a fun one. Honestly, 9th book is probably one of my favorite treasures in the game. 9th book build is like one of my favorite things to do in the entire game. And so this was an incredibly satisfying game for me. Started out a little bit disappointing, searching for Crystal Ball and Forking Rod and not finding it, but our monster books and copycats just get it done. And then yeah, finding 9th book of Merlin off that first Scion triple was just perfect for us. But yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel, and I really appreciate it. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of this build. Or is this a build that you go for, or one that you just don't really pay attention to because it's a little bit niche of a build. Like you have to get some very specific things, so it's not one that people just fall into, you know. Also, again, I would love it if you would follow me over on Twitch and come and hang out live. I'd love to see you over there. But yeah, I think that's everything for today. So with all that being said, I will see you tomorrow.